hot button.
So I was watching a no clip that came out, I think right before the VGAs in December last year, where Danny is he's interviewing Jeff Keighley, who's come up on the show before, and he talks about, I guess it's the first televised game award show. It was called Cybermania in '94. I'm not sure if he produced it or was a consultant on it. He was pretty young at the time. Me, Matt, and Chris watched it over the weekend because the whole thing's up on YouTube, and it's hosted by Leslie Nielsen of, like Naked Gun and Airplane fame. And who's the kid?
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Yeah, from Home Improvement.
Yep.
And it is bizarre. It's kind of surreal. It was 2 hours long and clearly some money put into it. But we also stumbled across a review.
From Entertainment Magazine.
It was Entertainment Magazine. Okay, they just tear it apart.
We thought it was bizarre watching it.
Yeah.
And we're like, there's no way this could be this bad. And then we confirmed it by reading a write-up that was from 1994 by a writer. And what he has to say about the show. The 2-hour show, which pulled a respectable 1.1 rating, was a low-rent whack at the MTV Video Music Awards without the faintest whiff of Oscars legitimacy. Performers range from midgets juggling and spinning dishes to keyboardist Herbie Hancock performing some techno crud with solid gold-type dancers. They were complimented by a slew of B-list luminaries, sometimes actress Shelley Duvall.
It's so brutal.
Jive-talking comic Charles Fleischer, Marla Gibbs from The Jeffersons, and Grace Under Fire's Dave Thomas, all of whom had that, man, I'm going to have a talk with my agent glare in their eyes as they awkwardly announced nominees like Return to Zork.
We did get to see Doom win action adventure game nominated alongside Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
And was Mist, I think, was an adventure game with Seventh Guest or whatever, but I guess they didn't have a shooter category or fighting category yet, so it was just kind of like this just mishmash of games from completely different genres thrown together. But and then Mortal Kombat, one game. I don't know if we made it that far to that got Game of the Year, but it was something else. And we also saw who was the woman from? She's the mom in Rick and Morty, and she was in Scrubs and stuff. We saw she was at one of the presenters, and
Elliot Reed.
Is that?
No, that's their
I forget
character name.
Damn it, I forget her name, but she was she couldn't have been
Sarah Chalk.
Sarah Chalk,
Yes.
yeah. I think she was 13 or something.
She's presenting.
Yeah.
They got the mayor of San Diego playing against the kid in SimCity.
In SimCity, yeah.
And then they cut to this interview where they're at different arcades around the country.
Yeah. That's where we saw young Will Arnett.
Yeah, Will Arnett is in Paramus, New Jersey at an arcade doing an interview. And then the other one, they're at the LA Center, the Staples Center or something. And he's trying to interview the kids, and he's just drowning live on air. He's like, I heard you have some secret tips. What games are you playing? And then eventually he just he looks over and he just calls for the paper that tells him what all the games are and what they do.
The DNA is there.
Yeah.
A bit of the foundation or the spirit of what the gaming awards would become. But it is amusing to see all of these people dressed in suits at this giant theater. And it's because it was actually put on by the Academy of Arts and Sciences, I think. But
yeah,
they took one shot at that and then
said never again.
Yeah. Not until I guess 2003 or 2004. I forget when the Spike one started, but
yeah,
now it's now they're beating the Oscars, so I guess it worked out in the end.
I guess so.
So what do Bethesda, the U.S. Navy SEALs, Mickey Rourke, and the New York Times all have in common? Well, we have each of them to thank in helping give us the colossal piece of crap that is 2009's Rogue Warrior. A terrible FPS with even more terrible politics, but holy shit, is it downright hilarious. A laughable blend of broken mechanics, poor level design, busted AI and controls, ugly visuals, boring combat, brutal violence, gratuitous fucking swearing, and a near incomprehensible Go America storyline that we suffered through so you wouldn't have to. Thankfully, its crazy short wet fart of a campaign also gifted us with what is probably the best credits in all of video games. We'll let you guys be the judge. Now I could say more in regards to its star protagonist, its reception post-launch. The Though why ruin the fun? I want to know how the hell this thing was birthed, and it sounds like Austin has the answers. Speaking of, this is fucking Hot Button. I'm fucking Randall Beatrice, here with the aforementioned fucking Austin Blakesley and Chris fucking Nudaboom.
Suck my balls, wrap them around your chin or whatever.
Fuck yeah, call me motherfuckers.
Who's ready to do Reagan proud?
Always. Always. All right. So we got three rogue warriors to contend with. We have the man, the book, and the game. We're going to start with the man.
Okay. Dick.
Richard Dick Marcinko.
Demo Dick?
That's his nickname.
Oh, boy.
You'll find out why in a second.
Okay.
Richard Dick Marcinko.
There's a lot of explosions in that
was
game.
born in Lansford, PA in 1940.
Where's Lansford? It's more west?
No, it's like, I think it's like around the Amish area.
Okay.
Because
East Coast, just
he
near
moved-
Lancaster, maybe.
He moved to New Brunswick, New Jersey
Ah.
very early on in his life.
Oh no.
I don't have an exact date, but sometime before high school.
You went to college up there.
I did.
Yeah.
Because
Did you see him at a party?
Yeah, I was gonna say, was he that homeless man I saw?
his family has a history of being in the Army.
No.
So at the age of 18, he dropped out of high school and decided to one-up them and enlist in the United States Marine Corps.
What year was this?
This would have been, he's 18, so 1958.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the Marine Corps has a high school diploma requirement, funnily enough. So he went with his next best option that's still
GD.
better than the Army, the Navy.
Ah. And when was the Korean War? That's late 50s, early 60s, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Don't worry, we're
At
going
the
to go
time.
through his history.
Oh, I didn't actually know if he, like, when he fought or where.
So, in 1958, at the age of 18, he enlisted in the United States Navy as a radio man. Now-
Radio Dick.
Dick on the waves. Spinning the dicks on ones and two.
Now, I'm gonna play a clip from an interview where he talks about his childhood.
Oh, we can see what he sounds like.
We can see what he sounds like before we
Okay.
hear what he sounds like in the game.
All right.
When I was born in 1940, so that we had the draft, and everybody on both sides of my family was Army or Army Air Corps, no Navy. So I joined in 1958 and went to the Navy, and only because the Marines wouldn't let me go to Lebanon. It reflect back that far. We had a Lebanon issue then. But 1950, there was a movie out called Frogman with Richard Widmark. Black and white, I still have it. And I said, I could do that. It looked kinda
He enlisted
cool,
because
but,
of a movie?
Yep.
Wow.
having-
Also, not
it was
exactly
still on the draft, so
Mickey
I actually
Rourke.
No.
by joining
But he does have
17,
kind of that, like, slurry,
I
drunk
could
He
speech.
does, yeah.
I was half expecting him to talk and be like, yeah, I enlisted in the Navy. Like, so.
Not exactly Mickey Rourke, but
There's
not
some gruffness. It's
not
yeah.
far off.
I can see how they...
Like, Mickey Rourke's
Well, he
not
went,
the
yeah.
worst choice.
No.
Nothing. Okay. I mean, so far so good. He just joined the Navy when he was 18 and comes from a military family. There's
It checks out.
checks out.
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
Now, due to what he calls, and later on in that interview, I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's like 5 minutes long,
Right.
bureaucratic bullcrap,
The old red tape.
it took him a full 3 years to finally get his position in the Navy, the Underwater Demolitions Team. Hence the name, Demo Dick.
Underwater demolitions?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. 1961. And he was so good at it that he was then selected to train to be an officer.
Mm.
So 4 years later, he graduated from officer school in 1965 and was reassigned to SEAL Team 2 in 1966.
Not exactly 6, but...
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that.
Uh-oh.
He was doing pretty well in the Navy, but then 1967 hits, and with 1967 comes...
Vietnam.
Exactly.
Hey.
The Vietnam War, which would boost his standing within the U.S. Navy quite a bit. Demo Dick did 2 tours of duty in Vietnam. The first with SEAL Team 2 at the beginning of 1967, where he led an assault so successful that he was awarded, and I couldn't find any more information on this than the article I found.
I feel like the words successful in Vietnam just don't.
I know. He was awarded the Bronze Star, the Silver Star, and the Vietnamese Cross of Gallantry. For some reason, the Vietnamese government gave him a medal too. Couldn't find out why that was. You know, a lot of his backstory is classified, and you only really have his word from the book to go on. He then ended an 18-month tour of duty in Vietnam.
Okay.
Went back to the States for a little bit, then came back as the head of the 8th Platoon and led another successful rescue mission during the Tet Offensive. And then he went back stateside, and then after that, the Vietnam War ended.
Yep.
So then he, in 1973, was stationed in Cambodia for a year. After that year, he then assumed command of SEAL Team 2 and was commander of SEAL Team 2 for, I want to say 2 years. They like change commanders every couple of years or something for some reason.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, I guess that makes sense.
And then another important milestone, 1979, the Iran hostage crisis happens.
Oh. Well,
So Dick...
He single-handedly...
No. So Dick is chosen as the Navy's representative in what will become a joint task force between all of the Army, the Navy, the Marine Corps,
He's uniting
the
them
Air
all.
Force. Yes. And this is called TAT, or the Terrorist Action Team, which sounds like a group from a Genesis game.
Yikes.
They launched Operation Eagle Claw, which was a rescue mission in order to get the hostages out of Iran.
Yeah.
They failed miserably. 5 Air Force members and 3 Marine Corps members were killed. No hostages were rescued. And then Jimmy Carter lost the presidency because of that failed operation. So in 1970, or I guess 1980, I mean.
Major beef.
Yep.
They should have just renamed it from Tat to like Screaming Eagle.
Well, no, they had Operation Eagle Claw.
Oh, that's right.
They were
Yeah.
Double the
It'd be
eagle.
too
Double
similar. Too similar. And then, as Randy said, this failed offensive kind of made all of the branches of the military realize that they might need a counter-terrorist force. So they all got to work, and the Navy hired, or I guess tasked, Dick Marcinko with developing theirs, which was known as SEAL
Rainbow
Team
Six.
6.
Wait, really?
Yeah. He created SEAL Team 6.
No shit. I
Yeah.
I did
Yes.
not know that.
That's SEAL Team 6.
Wow.
Funny anecdote. At the time, there were only 2 SEAL teams. He named it SEAL Team 6 to confuse the Soviet Union. So that
to
if
make
they-
him think that they
If they ever heard the name SEAL Team 6, they would get very confused and wonder where the other
5 teams
where
are.
the other 3 teams they didn't know about were. Yeah.
Yeah.
didn't know like the philosophies like left over from like the space race are still there. Just
Yeah.
like
Of course, I think there are like 18 SEAL teams now.
yeah.
yeah.
It was-
But at the time, there were only 2, and he's thinking outside the box.
Mhm.
Keep that in mind. Always thinking outside
steps
the
ahead.
box.
Yeah.
He commanded SEAL Team 6 until 1983, so for 3 years. And
we're in
he
Cold War
was,
times.
yeah, he left that position to command another team that the Navy tasked him with building. This one was created with the task of testing the U.S. Navy's vulnerability to terrorism. The team was officially called the Navy Security Coordinator Team OP-06D, although Dick
There's a
and
ring
his
to it.
buddies unofficially called it Red Cell.
I had no idea, by the way, that he had like this celebrated of a
Oh, yeah.
career. I just thought he was like a washed up lunatic. That's what the game.
Well, hold on.
the impression I'd get from.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
So, Operation Red Cell, as I said, was tasked with testing the security of like naval bases, Marine Corps bases.
Mhm.
Basically, it was like, here's a bunch of old guys that are a little too old to go out in the field, but they're still good at what they do. So we'll have them break into our own bases and test out how well we can defend against like spies and stuff.
Like war games.
Yeah, kinda. Except there are conflicting reports because a couple ex-members of Red Cell claim that whole testing defensive capabilities was a cover-up, and they were actually a more secret force than SEAL Team 6.
Are you sure you're not just reading a Tom Clancy book right now?
I essentially am,
Yeah,
because,
like
I said, a lot of this is classified, and this is all like honor system Dick Marcinko's
we're gonna get
words.
shut down.
Yeah.
I knew there were some people questioning the validity of like the. his
Is
book,
this
but
when
we'll
like
get there.
another guy comes out and says no, they were actually double agents for the deep state, and another guy comes out and says double agents, triple agents for the USSR.
It's all anonymous.
No, Dick Marcinko would never work for the USSR. Call me motherfuckers.
that we know of.
It's the scene in Chernobyl when they point out that everybody in Russia is always watching everybody else,
Yeah.
so they just
Yeah.
keep pointing to different people in suits. all
There's like a KGB dude following him, and then a KGB dude
Yeah,
following that
and-
guy, and yeah.
Even like the head guy, he's like, yeah, there's people following me too.
Mhm. So
Checks and balances.
that was, when did I say? 1983.
Yeah.
He worked on Red Cell for 6 years and officially retired from the Navy in 1989 after 30 years of service.
Good for him.
Yeah. Well, maybe. Later in 1989, Dick was indicted by the United States Navy for conspiracy
Oop.
and fraud for receiving kickbacks. You see, he contracted out some of the government contracts for both SEAL Team 6 and Red Cell to companies that his former SEAL buddies had started, which is a big no-no. One of his buddies was indicted,
I wonder what they were for.
or sorry,
Like what-
convicted, not indicted.
It was probably like a catering company.
Oh, no, it was an arms company.
Oh.
Yeah, I forget what it was called. Accuracy Plus or something. Something like it sounds like a streaming service, but it's not. It's an arms company. That's all I remember. I didn't write it down.
Dead aim.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah. Dick was convicted in 1990 and sentenced to 21 months in federal prison, along with a fine for $10,000.
I didn't know he went to jail either.
So
Uh,
we're here to talk about video games. So why did I tell you this man's whole life story? Well, while our friend Demo Dick was in jail, he wrote himself a book, along with
did he
another
ghostwrite it or
writer.
did he write it himself?
He co-wrote it.
Okay.
I think the guy's, I should have wrote it down. John Weissman or something like that is the co-writer.
Ivan Reitman?
This guy co-wrote the autobiography, but he also co-wrote the sequels too, until like
Oh, right.
2005 or something.
And the sequels, are they a work of fiction? Well,
Who knows?
You know,
Are Tom Clancy books a work of fiction? Or did they happen? Who knows?
Johnny Weissman. I used to smoke pot with him. All those crazy war stories he used to come up with.
Did you find the guy's name?
Yeah, you were right. John Weissman.
Wow.
Also, this
good
fucking
memory.
this fucking cover, dude. The arms
Oh my-
crossed.
Oh my god.
He is, I will say, he's insane, but he is kind of a G.
Yeah.
I will say. But yeah,
So like in this book, did he just crank it up to 11?
not yet.
Okay.
People have come out and claimed that he
Because I think only the first book is credited as an autobiography.
yes. So the rest, let me just say the line and then we'll talk about it.
Okay.
So, as Randy mentioned in the intro, it was a New York Times bestseller,
Yeah.
which prompted Dick and his writing partner, John Weissman, to continue it. Except, how do you continue?
An autobiography.
How do you make a series out of an autobiography when the autobiography ends with him getting out of jail, by the way?
And then I broke out.
It's easy. You turn yourself into a Tom Clancy-like main character and make the rest of this shit up.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So let me just read these off. There are 16 fictional books in the Rogue Warrior series.
Hold on. Did you say 16?
16.
There's more Rogue Warrior books than Harry Potter books?
But is there more than Animorphs?
Hold on.
Probably not.
I'm going to read you. So they're all called
These
Rogue
titles?
Warrior : something.
Okay.
I'm going to read you the list. Red Cell, Green Team, Task Force Blue, Designation Gold, SEAL Force Alpha,
that
Operation
one.
Delta, Echo Platoon, Detachment Bravo, Violence of Action, Vengeance, Holy Terror, Dictator's Ransom, Seize the Day, Domino Theory, Blood Lies, and the latest one from 2014, Curse of the Infidel.
2014.
Wait, could you repeat that last name?
Curse of the Infidel?
Oh, what a terrible title.
So wait, but what you're saying is that there's plenty of material to work with
For the Rogue Warrior
the
extended
game,
universe.
yeah, the game sequels.
I mean, how many books did Tom Clancy write? Was it that many?
Yeah.
They made like 18 games at him.
They did. Though a lot of those, like, he was more of a just a consultant, I think, on a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
But they did publish books like.
But also he didn't write. He didn't write. Splinter Cell's not a book.
It is a book, but he didn't write it.
Splinter Cell's not a book. Hawks isn't a book.
No. Splinter Cell's a book, but
after the game, though.
Right? Yeah. He didn't write it.
They're all books after the game. Okay?
I mean, did they make a Hawks book?
I think they did. Yeah.
Really?
They also made an N-War book. Yeah.
Where's the Siege
there's
book?
also a Division book as well.
Is there? Oh, there's a Division movie coming.
Mm-hmm. Starring Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, my man.
Mm-hmm.
But
So wait. So
Okay.
the fiction books are, according to Dick Marcinko, based on things that happened to him. Like it's fiction character. He is in it. He is the main character. He says he's drawing from real life experiences, but like places and names and conflicts are changed.
are they? What
So,
about the
like-
time period? Like, are they chronologically?
I would have to guess because 2014's was called Curse of the Infidel. That doesn't sound like a Vietnam or Russia.
No, you're right, but he didn't go back into the service after prison, did he?
No, it was like I said, it's not. It was probably set in the Iraq War, but like.
Let me modernize this.
But he's like, if there's a hostage situation and he's explaining in detail how he got out of it, he claims like, I did that just somewhere else you don't know about.
It was
you know?
real badass.
Yeah.
You should have been there.
Yeah.
Is that like saying like, yeah, and that's when I landed the helicopter after landing the airplane? It's really, he just like took a flight from,
it's
Seattle to St. Louis. And
It's
just
like,
oh.
it's like the equivalent of the Tenacious D song. Like, you're just talk up yourself.
You're just obfuscating everything.
Mm-hmm.
You're just like, what did I do?
Yeah.
Oh, that one day I got lunch.
Or you're right.
On
You just
the enemy base, deep undercover,
Mm-hmm.
killing 3 people, and I got the fruit cup.
You know, that does sound like a fun series to write.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure John Weissman had a blast.
Did he write all of them? After?
No.
Okay.
So John Weissman,
He
like
just
I said,
license out
he's-
his fucking a name and image.
No. They co-wrote them all. So
Oh,
Dick
okay.
Marcinko co-wrote all of them. John Weissman stopped working on them after like 10.
Only after 10.
Yeah, and then the last 6 were co-written with another author whose name I do not remember.
Okay. I'm not looking him up.
Yeah. He also
What do you think he said to him after the 10th book? Like, hey man, I'm done. I'm out. Like,
I've ran out of scenarios.
you think he's like, yo, Johnny, cook up a new good one. We need some more money. He's just like, I'm out of ideas.
What if I was a robot?
Yeah. The time the government replaced my arm with a prosthetic.
Yeah, Dick, you're too focused on this video game business.
You need to get your head in the book.
Yeah. So, he also wrote a couple of leadership self-help type books
Oh, those are
entitled
gotta be good.
Leadership Secrets of the Rogue Warrior, A Commander's Guide to Success, The Rogue Warrior Strategy for Success,
Rogue Warriors, The Art of the Deal.
and The Real Team was the last one. But yeah, like I said, dude's a bit of a G.
Mm.
Led a hell of a life.
Prolific.
And now I know what you've been thinking this whole time.
Do you?
Man, it would be awesome to play this as a video game. Well, guess what? Here comes Bethesda Softworks to save the day.
Yeah. Their most renowned title.
Mm-hmm. Along with what?
Wet?
Yeah. I will say, Wet is both way worse and way, way better than Rogue Warrior.
What do you mean worse?
this character just doesn't have as much personality as Dick Marcinko.
Wait, isn't it Elijah Dushku?
Yeah. He doesn't have as much personality as Mickey Rourke. So, in 2006, after the success of The Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion...
Never heard of it.
No?
Mm.
Little indie game.
Did we cover that?
They sold horse armor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there
you
was
go.
nipples in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bethesda decided to start getting into third-party publishing.
Yeah, which they don't do a lot these days.
No, because they just bought everybody.
Well, then they got bought themselves.
And then they were sold.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had their sites. See, here's the thing, and this is going to become important later. This is 2006 when this was announced.
New consoles
Meaning
are
that
out.
it was right at the launch of the 360. PS3 and the Wii are not out yet.
Okay.
But we're coming fresh off the GameCube, PS2, Xbox era. So when you think I'm making a shooter
War games were big.
in 2005, everybody goes back and they go, well, you're making Call of Duty, right? Well, no, because Call of Duty 2 had just come out for 360. So Call of Duty wasn't
It's
this
true.
massive juggernaut. Call of Duty was still on the level with
Yeah.
games like Medal of Honor,
Medal of Honor,
Battlefield, a couple others.
Soldier
One
of
important
Fortune.
one.
Conflict
Brother in
Desert
Arms.
Storm. Brothers in Arms was good.
What's the important series that they're aping off of here? See if you can guess.
50 Cent Blood in the Sand.
No, that didn't come out yet.
Yeah.
50 Cent Bulletproof. No, I'm just kidding.
As far as like Full
What do you
Spectrum
think-
Warrior.
No. It's easier than that.
Wait, give me another hint.
We've already mentioned a name.
Oh, you mean like Tom Clancy stuff, like Splinter Cell and
More importantly, Rainbow Six.
oh, Rainbow Six. Okay,
Yes.
yeah,
So basically, Bethesda is trying to.
yeah. Rainbow Six 3 was big at this point,
Bethesda is
and
trying
Vegas
to.
was coming out.
Yes, Bethesda is trying to make their own Rainbow Six.
Okay,
Because Tom Clancy games way bigger in that generation than they were in the 360 generation.
yeah.
There's just one problem though. Tom Clancy's already spoken for. You can't get that Tom Clancy license.
Ubisoft has that shit on lock.
Yeah. So what do?
You gotta
That's
get
right.
another.
You go for C tier Tom Clancy, aka Demo Dick Marcinko.
You get dollar store Tom Clancy.
I think it's more D tier.
Well, if you think about it, like when they picked up Tom Clancy and they started making games, how many books had he written at that point?
Well, Rainbow Six 1 came out in '98, and he was writing throughout the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Pretty successfully with like movies and adaptations and stuff.
Right? So you're looking at an author from around the same time frame, right? Like if he went to prison in 90 or something like that and he wrote his first book and then he put out, 10 others. Yeah. So I can imagine Bethesda looked at this as like, okay, if we make a good one here, we have
This could be a whole.
plenty of material to keep going on with.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so they're looking at dollar store Tom Clancy, a prolific author throughout the 90s, and they're looking for basically the next cash cow.
Essentially, but the thing you have to consider.
I don't know if they dreamt that big. I mean, like they probably wanted a character in the same way that like Sam Fisher was kind of the face of the Xbox and for a little bit. Not as much
Right.
as, Master Chief, but
Of course. But the thing you have to consider is that like Tom Clancy was a very prolific writer throughout the 80s, but like what books did he write? Like Hunt for Red October, Sum of All Fears.
Yeah.
Like those
Clear and Present Danger.
had video games,
Yeah, I think there was some old NES.
but that
and
wasn't the
stuff.
Ubisoft stuff. The only book that Ubisoft turned into like a video game was Rainbow Six.
There was a Sum of All Fears game.
That's what I'm saying.
It was very bad, but
But that's what I'm saying. That was before
yeah, right, yeah,
like
yeah.
they were branding everything, and
No,
that was more
yeah,
like based
that's
off
true.
the movie. But like Rainbow
Yeah,
Six
I think it had the movies
was
covered.
the game, and then came Ghost Recon, Splinter Cell,
Yes.
and all the rest of them, which were not based on books. They just slapped his name on military shit.
Yeah, I
That's
mean
what-
it's a brand, and it kind of has a sort of shared aesthetic, and
And if you
The-
like read a little bit about the Rogue Warrior series, it does kind of seem like dollar store Rainbow Six. Like what's that guy's name? Ding Chavez.
Ding Chavez.
Yeah, he's like discount Ding Chavez, even though he's a real person who actually did some of this shit. But
Ding Chavez is real to me.
yeah. Ready to see Randy get real excited?
Yeah.
And I'm real disappointed. Okay. The game was being developed as a drop-in, drop-out, 4-player, split-screen, squad-paced, tactical, multiplayer co-op game.
Cool.
A la Rainbow Six or Conflict Desert Storm.
Hell yeah.
The game would
It's
also
called Brute
feature
Force.
24-player multiplayer with the unique twist that there were no maps in the game.
What?
Each team would vote on a base, and then the 2 bases would be connected with a procedurally generated middle ground.
That is ambitious.
With over 200 different map combinations that was supposed to be different every match.
So, at this point, conceptually, was this from the original developers that were?
Yes. So,
Okay.
the game, called at that time Rogue Warrior Black Razor,
Black Razor.
was being developed by Zombie Studios. You may not know the name, but you know the studio. They are the now defunct team behind the Spec Ops series,
Yes.
as well as a few Rainbow Six expansion titles that Red Storm didn't work on.
So like Rogue Spear or
Rogues, yeah, like not Rogue Spear was 2, but like
Yeah.
the expansion for Rogue Spear they did.
Okay. Also, I don't think they did the line, right? That was what?
No, that was
like
Jaeger.
20 Jaeger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is
As well
amazing.
as they cooperated with the United States Army and made America's Army as well.
Oh,
That was them.
no shit.
Yo,
I
fun
remember
fact.
that game.
America's Army. I got a CD of that burnt by somebody who will not be named, and it crashed my computer.
Really?
Like my hard
And then
drive
I got
fried.
drafted.
Yeah, it was the worst. No,
The
I tried
computer
to
exploded. I
install
woke
it.
up in Afghanistan. It was weird.
I tried to install it, and
It's a pistol in my hand.
legitimately it destroyed my hard drive.
Wow.
I thought it was something I downloaded off Kazaa or LimeWire, but that was the first time my hard drive crashed.
Yeah, we went over that last time you were on.
Yeah, the second time was because of America's Army given to me by someone that everyone in this room knows that I'll tell you after the show.
Did you ever get to play it legitimately? Find out if it was worth it?
No,
Yeah.
I was too afraid. I had to go out and buy a new hard drive.
I know that game also came up on the G4 one, right? That was what they were playing in Arena.
Yeah.
Was that America's
Yeah.
Army?
Yeah, that was America's Army.
Also, if your brother was here, he would have a lot to say about the early Spec Ops games. He was into those.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I remember as kids, I think he was playing it on your old family computer.
But yeah, sounds like a great team for a Tom Clancy competitor, huh? Spec Ops, America's Army. Seems like a good pedigree.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Seems like a neat idea.
I think they also made the Saw game.
Who, Zombie?
I think so.
Yeah, I think they might have.
I think there were 2 of those.
They also made Blacklight
Retribution?
Retribution and that terrible horror game that was one of the first UE4 games. It is something light. Daylight? Deadlight?
Death by Daylight? Dead by Daylight?
Wait, was that the side-scroller one?
No.
I was like, that game was all right.
That's Deadlight.
Okay.
So it's Daylight.
Okay. That's Daylight. I never
That was
played.
Tequila Works. Great studio.
Yeah. I remember liking Deadlight.
Yeah. Well, here's the problem. So Randy made a comment earlier about how that multiplayer mode sounded real ambitious, huh?
It did.
A little too ambitious. The game, in the following months, released a couple screenshots in a magazine and then vanished off the face of the earth.
Do those screenshots look at all like what we played? No?
Honestly, it looks a little bit like Ghost Recon.
Is it still first person?
It's third person.
It's third person?
Okay. Yeah, the game went completely dark from the years of 2007 until 2009. Not a lot is really known about that period. And that's because it takes a while to switch developers and
Right.
scrap a project completely. So the game resurfaced in 2009 with a bunch of changes. Most importantly, Zombie Studios is inexplicably out as the developer and were replaced with Rebellion, the creators of the Sniper Elite
Yes.
series,
And Alien vs. Predator.
as well as a bunch of licensed games,
And the
including the
Jaguar.
Judge Dredd game, the
Dread
Terminator,
vs. Death?
the
Yeah.
Terminator games,
Slimy.
Alien vs. Predator, which is probably what they're best known for,
Yeah,
other than
yeah.
Sniper Elite.
You know what else they did? they did the horrible PS1 version of Rainbow Six.
Yeah.
The one that's on the PlayStation
That's
Classic.
true, they did, yeah. But they weren't chosen because they did a Rainbow Six version or because they did Sniper Elite. They were chosen for one reason and one reason only. They were notorious. I guess notorious has a bad connotation, right? They were famous around the industry for getting games done real quick and real cheap.
The Brett Radner of game.
That's a little harsh, but yeah.
Oh wait, yeah, because isn't he a sex pest?
Yeah, he's a sex
All right,
pest.
I take that back. I'm sorry.
But also,
to
Rebellion. Some of Rebellion's games are a little bit higher quality than
No,
Brett
yeah,
Ratner's
the
movies.
Sniper Elite games are pretty
That's
good.
true.
And they just recently did Strange Brigade, which was cool.
Yeah,
But
I've always
they know what they're
said
doing.
Sniper Elite is the rush hour of the video game industry.
I'm sorry, I'll work on my metaphors here.
Do
you ever play Rogue Trooper?
Road Trooper rules.
Yeah,
that was them.
No affiliation.
No affiliation. That's the Blue People game. That game's real fun. But I do have an excerpt from a Gama Sutra interview.
Okay.
Did we decide it's Gama Sutra? I'm saying Gama Sutra.
This is happening. I thought it was
Gama Sutra.
Gama Sutra.
They say it's Gama Sutra, but it's Gama, so it's Gama. They're wrong. It's like the GIF thing.
All right.
With a developer at Rebellion, who has been given Rogue Warrior.
Fell onto his desk.
This was right after the announcement in 2009. They asked, how long have you been working on it? And he said, we've been working on it for a year now, and we've completely wiped the slate clean. We completely started everything from scratch. New story, new models, new everything. We'd been given a complete fresh start with this IP, completely focused on the personality of Dick Marcinko. He's a Navy SEAL, a highly decorated guy with incredible stories to tell. He's written 16 books, which is a massive point of reference for us. We've been purely focusing on that and making a really exciting, gritty, violent, personality-based shooter.
I wonder who on staff had to read all those books.
I don't know.
So did anyone behind the scenes working on this mention kind of his role in the project? Yeah, because that's what I'm most curious about, just how involved.
Yeah, here, I have the link to this interview right here. I don't think I included it.
It seems like he would walk in and just be video games is for nerds, and then just leave.
You guys are doing war on the computer?
Or just make me look awesome, make my muscles that much bigger.
Yeah, okay, hold on.
He feels like the type to walk through the office and be like,
knocking someone's hat off.
Yeah.
Here we go. I found it.
Okay.
Okay, so the interviewer asks, how much and in what ways did you work with Marcinko on the game?
All right.
And this is the response from the Rebellion guy. We've met with him 3 times now throughout key stages of development.
He spit in my face.
Early on, we talked to him about the mission statements. We talked about how to get across his specific personality. We talked about his kind of violence and the ways he would go about killing if he didn't have guns on hand. There were some interesting stories about the way he would stick a piece of wood in someone's ear and things like that, which is pretty gruesome. Then we talked to him further about the actual story.
He called me a bunch of slurs.
That evolved into something we were happy with, and we got more of his advice with the locations and with different ways to approach things.
Does this look like Russia?
Certain games have a very clean way of stacking up on a door to breach it. It's a very by-the-book way of doing things. He never operated like that. He threw the book out the window day one. He does things in a
doesn't know how to read.
Much more of a rough and ready kind of way. He uses very dirty tactics. In the game, rather than door breaching, he's going to kick the door in by charging in there and shoot its hinges off.
Real stealthy.
It's a different type of tactic. It's not such a stealth tactic, more of an alarm tactic. That's their answer on his involvement.
Strike fear into the enemy.
Yep.
All right. Well, I don't know what I expected. That's
sounds about right.
Yeah. You look confused, Chris.
I feel like that is the first time I've ever heard someone say that, like, the elite in the military, like, oh man, they sneak in everywhere. No. They blow their way in. Like,
yeah, no, that's what SEAL Team 6 is famous for, right?
Yeah.
Being as clumsily loud as possible.
And just mowing down everybody to get in and out wherever they want to go.
Yeah, but that throw the book out the window day one line is very Tom Clancy.
Yeah.
Even though Tom Clancy put a lot more care into people actually following the book.
I mean, he was super into, like, military hardware and how stuff worked. And
Dick Marcinko's got the only 2 pieces of military hardware he needs.
Yeah.
His 2
a piece of
bloodied,
wood. And
blistered American hands.
Just delivering freedom right to those communist faces.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I don't want to jump ahead, but can anybody recount the game's story from memory? Or are we going to try and do that?
You're cutting me off.
All right.
I got a question for you guys in a bit.
Oh, no.
But first, let's talk about the rest of the changes to the gameplay.
Yeah.
The game had a huge change in scope. Instead of being a 4-player, tactical, co-op, squad-based game, inspired by Dick Marcinko's time with the Navy SEALs, the game would be a Dick Marcinko story. It would be single-player, featuring Dick as the main character. The multiplayer was still there, but the whole cool, ambitious map idea was gone. Now it's just deathmatch on the single-player levels.
Right. And we should say we couldn't try out the multiplayer.
I did watch a video of it being played. It looks very bad.
Yeah. I mean, nobody was online, right? So
yeah.
it's like...
No, I watched a video of people in 2018...
Oh my god, did they organized
who landed the game?
Were the servers up?
No, they landed. Which is hilarious because we played it on 360, we should say.
Yeah,
and apparently the PC controls are fucked.
Yeah. Oh.
Because the guy went to aim down sights and he clicked right mouse button and he threw a grenade and he went, "Why is grenade on right mouse button?"
That's awful. Also, and it is not backwards compatible.
It's not.
Yeah.
Do
that on OG hardware.
In addition to gameplay changes, the subtitle of Black Razor was gone, and the game is just called Dick Marcinko Rogue Warrior.
That's fine. You don't need Black Razor.
Here is a kind of long quote, but I wanted to include the whole thing.
All right.
So Shack News did an interview with Pete Hines right around the launch of both Rogue Warrior and
Wet.
And so I'm going to read a little excerpt from that interview. So, Shack News. Switching gears to Rogue Warrior. This was after the wet part. When it was first announced in 2006, it was a squad-based tactical SEAL game. This is shifting to a more one-man personality-driven approach. Was that something you guys imposed on Rebellion to streamline the project in its second incarnation? Pete Hines. Suffice it to say, we were not happy with the direction of that project. We felt it needed a change in scope and focus, and we felt that this was the focus that it needed. That sort of squad-based tactical, and then pause. In a sense, I guess it was turning into a bit of a Navy SEAL game and less of a Dick Marcinko game. Even though Dick Marcinko was a Navy SEAL. And I think we just felt like he's this really cool personality. And that personality, in a sense, is getting a bit lost in the mix here. How do we pull him out? How do we pull the personality out more? And so changing the focus of the story and the mechanics of the game is one way. Having Mickey Rourke come in to do the voiceover was another.
I was wondering when Rourke was going to come in.
Yep. How do we really make his performance stand out and lend voice to this character? Shack News. How are you planning to build this game from a marketing standpoint? You could certainly go action-packed Gears of War, or are you going more towards the Tom Clancy military tactical shooter? Pete Hines, sort of a cool personality-driven shooter.
Stop saying that.
Hold on.
It makes Duke Nukem look like a Mensa guy.
So it's all about character. He's almost like a Duke Nukem type. Not quite that over the top, but...
yeah, more over the top.
Pete Hines. I think the comparison is fair in that Duke Nukem is one of the few shooters you can point out to where it's focused around that guy, as opposed to, I don't remember the name of the guy in Call of Duty 4. It was a friggin' awesome game, but I don't remember who I was. Yeah, I know. The point of that game wasn't about being those guys. It's a great story, but it wasn't focused on, here's this person, here's what it's like to be this person. So we felt that this was just
with you getting executed in
more like, here's this cool guy, here's what he's going through, and here's what his personality is like. And of course, as the quote mentioned, the most important change, and the reason we're even doing this episode, the part of Dick Marcinko would be played by actor Mickey Rourke, fresh off his Oscar win for The Wrestler.
Oh my god, that was after The Wrestler.
Yep.
Oh, man.
He'll be fired as agent.
Now, as Randy said before, we're going to play a little game.
Okay.
I'm going to do a plot summary. But before I do a plot summary, I want you guys, without looking anything up from memory, to tell me the plot of Rogue Warrior.
There's some world hopping.
Yeah.
We passed the controller. Okay. You go to like a Russian factory, or is it Korea or Cambodia? I'm already doing a really bad job. You're trying to stop nukes.
You're trying to stop nukes, which were stolen by the Russians and delivered to the North Koreans. But you find that out after trying to rescue one of your buddies who was taken, but he's dead. But you find the plans, and that leads you off. Because all I remember is like,
there's no friendly AI throughout the whole.
No, but
game.
I thought you were trying to like rescue your friend.
I think you might be right.
And your friend dies in like that one building, where you like jump out the window at the end and blow people up with a rocket launcher.
Yeah.
You chase the nukes. Oh no, it's not Russia to North Korea. Is it North Korea to Russia? Like, I can't remember, because you chase them. You chase like the nukes away, and then eventually the last part of it is you blow up a submarine, and then you leave.
Okay, so I will say
That's pretty good, honestly. That was
Chris, you are very close. Yes.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna do my plot summary.
Okay.
Also,
if I didn't say this already, this game is 2 hours long.
2 hours long.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
And between every action level, there's just like a car chase level where nothing. It's just literally a time segment of stay alive. And
there's a lot of holdout survival.
They don't let you, like, they give you different weapons in each one. But
I mean, you kind of see everything that game has to offer pretty quickly.
Hold on.
In terms of the...
Let's go through plot, because I have another part where we talk about the actual game.
Okay.
So let's get the plot.
All right.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be a Duke Nukem-like character episode if I didn't do a terrible skit with a soundboard. So
I will say, though, if there was more, like, varied objectives, we probably could have recalled like level to like the differences level to level. You end up doing like the same thing.
Yes. So, plot summary.
Lay it on me.
Dick Marcinko is sent to Ungi, North Korea, on a covert mission to receive intel from a mole about nuclear missiles in the country.
Welcome to beautiful North Korea.
Do they give a year? It is during the Cold War.
It's during the Cold War.
I think it's like 80.
It's 80s.
Okay.
I don't remember the exact year. Right after landing there, his entire team is killed because they take down a group of North Koreans, but one of them pulls a pin on a grenade on his vest before he dies.
Right.
Yeah.
And then that kills Dick's whole team.
There's a bit of him driven by revenge going on.
Yeah. So, because his whole team dies immediately, his commander tells him, "Hey, Dick, you should abort the mission." Dick refuses. Now, Dick, why did you refuse?
I got bullets for every one of those motherfuckers.
So Dick finds the intel and is then ordered to destroy the missiles, but he can't find them. He only destroys one. Well, that's when he discovers...
What a chump.
That's when he discovers that these missiles are being sent to the Soviet Union.
Goddamn cock breath commie motherfuckers!
God, there's gonna be a lot of cock and ball fucking talk in there. But I don't remember who it was. Maybe IGN called him a homoerotic Rambo.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much.
So he hops on the train that the missiles are being transported to the Soviet Union on. And his commander once again warns him to abort, or this time he will be court-martialed. You have anything to add?
Better dead than red, assholes.
Okay.
Oh, there's gonna be so much anti-communist sentiment.
Yeah, of course, patriot that he is, Dick declines again. He then goes around the USSR, blowing up missiles. And then this guy really hates the Soviets.
The Soviet fucking Union can fondle my hairy nuts.
God.
There's multiple of those involving his fucking.
And he says this
balls.
all throughout the level, too. Like, these aren't
yeah.
cutscenes. These are like repeatable quotes you can say
Yeah,
at
it's
a time.
like during it, like he'll say them during assassination takedowns.
Yeah.
Like it's like tell Reagan.
You know what the weirdest part is? So I got the game files and they're divided up by level.
Yeah.
So they can't occur at any time.
Wait,
They're organized
special?
they're organized by level, and it's just random quips, but they're not this. They're repeated, but they're not the same for each level.
Well, I think he had to pivot his racism.
Exactly,
Yeah,
yeah.
like at
So
some
the
point
North
when you're
Korean ones only occur in the first couple levels, and then the Soviet ones come in later. Okay. So anyway,
I thought I had.
he blows up these missiles, finds out that the last missile is on a submarine. So the last mission is to blow up a submarine. Then he gets rescued by his commander, and he hands them the intel he found and says, "This is for evidence when I get court-martialed."
Go to jail.
Yeah. And I have a couple more quotes.
Suck my balls, my hairy fucking big balls. Wrap them around your fucking mouth.
Oh man!
All right, here's another one.
One interview, Mickey.
Hey,
Rourke.
man, fighting it only makes it worse. Just die like the little motherfucker you are.
Okay, now I have two more, and I will say,
that really paints an image. The saggy wrapping balls.
so you guys don't think that, so you guys realize just how ridiculous it is. I'm gonna play these last two clips. There is some language that I don't like to use anymore, but man, Mickey Rourke and/or Dick Marcinko loves to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the first one.
Get this, you fucking retard, you dead piece of shit.
Also goes on like too long.
Yeah.
Like,
We should also say that like these are not in cutscene.
no.
The line deliveries are all different. Like you would think shit's happening, but it's just like you go to. We can talk about the kill animations later, but you go to do one of those kill animations and it just plays a random sound clip.
It does,
They don't
I even
really
think his
fit.
mouth is moving. Like,
And then my absolute favorite line, even though I don't like all the words in it.
Karl Marx. Fuck Karl Marx. He's a big fucking faggot pussy.
oh my god! It's got to be the only time that's ever been uttered in a video game, to say the least.
It's gotta be.
It's such a weird thing to like. I get that they're communist. It's communist Soviet Russia, but like
What were
they
you
have a
saying?
leader, and it's not Karl Marx.
No, like
Karl Marx has never been a leader, and he was a philosopher.
like were we? Yeah, we were just like making fun of it when we were playing. You're like, yeah, stick your finger up my asshole, gay wad.
He does call people gay, I think. A couple
Yeah.
times
Rub your balls all over my face. Yeah, that'll show you. Yeah, stuff like that.
I'll suck your dick clean.
Yeah.
And also, there's like some of these. Mickey Rourke sounds like he really sounds drunk.
Yeah.
like he's like.
I will say I had more of a skit, but I had more of a skit written out, but I didn't feel like doing it because this is harder. That was harder to get through than the Duke Nukem one, because this game is even more ridiculous than Duke Nukem Forever.
Oh my god, I'm crying. He's just like.
So here's a quote about the story from the Gama Sutra interview.
Okay.
Gama Sutra. Is any of the story based on anything in his books or any things that actually happened to him, or is that material more of a launching off point for the tone and the character? Rebellion. Absolutely. A lot of his stuff is classified, but he's done a lot of books based loosely on things he's actually done. He has a book about North Korea. He's a pretty informed guy about what's going on in the world, and it kind of makes sense that what's going on in North Korea currently is quite topical. This was the Kim Jong-il era.
Right.
The overriding focus has been on the mode of operations. No plans survive contact with the enemy, and these kind of things, trying to weave those in more than any direct copying of operations he took place in. That's a bit of a mangled quote, because there's a lot of pauses in it, but yeah. So, I'm going to say, right now, we're going to get into the reception of the game. The game, as it currently stands, has anywhere, depending on platform, between a 27 and a 29 on Metacritic, with the PC version being the highest of the three at 29.
That's bad. That's
very bad. Let's take
that's a special kind of.
Let's take
terrible.
some time now and discuss.
Oh boy! Like actually playing it, hands on the controller.
Yes.
Oy, okay, so the one thing okay, hold on.
I mean, it was just like after the first two levels.
Yeah,
imagine just a copy paste of those first two levels, just another 6 times with a different skins and a little change up in the weapons and the enemies, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny because like I said, it's 2 hours.
Yeah.
It feels longer.
It does.
Like it is so the game is so, I can't emphasize this enough, so dark and so gray. I don't think anything takes place during the daytime. And it is a lot of squinting through like sights because there's no attachments.
No.
Right?
No.
It's you're
And it's
always
like-
just using
Like Chris said earlier, it's like the same 5 guns and they keep switching up what are available to you.
yeah.
Yeah.
To keep things quote unquote fresh. But then they
but
pad
thankfully
out the
the-
levels with just more enemies that kind of just spawn in wherever.
Yeah.
Granted, it's not like an unlimited spawner, which is nice, but like I remember there was one level that
It has the health
took-
system of a Call of Duty, right? Where it's just a red screen.
Yeah,
and then
and then you
regen.
recover.
Okay.
And then you
But-
die very quickly.
You do, yeah.
I remember
It's
there was
not easy.
there was one level where it took us like 45 minutes to get through, but like when we actually thought about it, we went through like 2 gates and 3 doors,
Yeah.
and then
Okay.
that was
Just try
it.
and run through. Well, remember, we also discovered that the game had like a Rainbow Six style cover system, like
Yeah,
halfway through, because it's never explicit about it, and B, the AI is so dumb that it's easier to just run up to
Knife
and
'em,
people.
yeah.
People. Because are you invincible during the melee,
Yes.
like the kill animations?
Yeah, it's a cutscene, so
Yeah.
you can't take damage. Okay, so here's a couple more quotes from that Gama Sutra interview with the Rebellion guy who's working on it. They ask him about design, his design perspective for the
Oh,
game.
this'll be
He
good.
says, "What we've done is essentially this. Each mission is made up of a series of encounters. In the early missions of the game, for
It does
difficulty,
feel like vignettes. Like,
for difficulty balancing, you get to be stealthy a lot more. Then as you go through the game, you find it harder and harder to do that.
especially when you just get discovered, like through the. Like,
Yeah.
like it'll just trigger like, yeah,
Yeah.
cutscene, you're found now.
That's kind of the tipping point. We have 3 or 4 encounters which may go through a fairly large part of the level through which you can choose to be stealthy. You can go through most of the game as you wish, but you will get penalized for it if you try to go in loud from the beginning. It's a tricky thing to try and balance out, but I think we're doing a pretty good job with that so far.
Wait, do you get penalized? They just mean it's
It gets
harder?
it gets harder.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, the stealth kills I think are saying the easy way out.
Yeah.
It's like they're because
I mean,
they
there's-
really are.
They are, but there's no reason to stop doing it.
But it's
Like
also
they're always a
but
one.
they
you
what they
also-
You can do it on enemies that have like armor and helmets.
Yeah.
you
Like,
also don't have to be stealthy. Like you can the AI is so dumb you can just run around them and hit the button.
yeah.
Yeah.
kill-
I don't think they can even turn like fast
No,
enough.
so you can just run up to them, run around them, and hit the button, and in the middle of a firefight, get into the invincible killing animation.
To the game's credit, those finishing moves are kind of amazing because there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
And it's probably the only part of the entire fucking like
They're very well animated.
yeah. It's like the only element of this game it looks like there was like kind of significant work put into, because other than that, we haven't said this yet, it does not run well.
No.
And the controls are pretty stiff. It's not like they had to sacrifice frame rate for fidelity, because it's it's also, just a
It's-
drab color palette. Like it is
here's
a draw distance.
here's
it's,
also another
it's
clip,
rough.
another part of that interview that kind of, in my eyes, illuminates why the AI is so bad. One of Dick's things is creating panic amongst the ranks. If you catch a guy by surprise,
Fear system.
he may be alerted to you. You can kill him or you can charge him. If you charge a grunt, they'll get scared and try to run away, and there's a certain chance they'll melee you, but there's also quite a high chance that you'll be able to kill them. For that whole thing, setting off explosives near enemies and stuff like that, we've got this whole panic state AI system to get across and allow players to take advantage of fear.
I don't even think I noticed.
No, because it's fucking broken. It doesn't work.
But those MKX style fucking like
Yeah.
those work. Like we were seeing new ones even towards the end of the game that are like so like aggressively violent that they're comedic. Like
oh yeah,
it
there's
is-
the one where you just walk up in front of somebody and just take a knife and stab them directly through the middle of the forehead and just crack their skull.
Yeah, there's a couple of the ankle like
Oh, yeah.
forget-
Yes, they're very brutal.
Mhm.
Yeah. The one where he like
Some eye
stabs the
stuff and-
kidney
Yeah.
You get him from behind, you stab his kid like 3 or 4 times, and then like he's just like going down, you slit his throat.
And they're not short
No.
as well, like either. So it's almost like imagine having to view the the Doom style takedowns, but if they were like each one of them was like, I don't know, maybe like
twice as long.
To
3 times as long.
Yeah, it's like 5 to 10 seconds for like, which I guess pads the length out. Like,
yeah, and as Chris said, there's like, I want to say like 8 or 9 levels, something like that.
Yeah,
and they're like divided up into 2 different types of levels, and they just alternate back and forth between the 2.
Yep.
Who beat it? Anyone remember? Was it you, Chris?
Well, all 3 of us played, but Chris beat it.
Okay.
Yeah. Because at the end, it was just like endless waves of enemies.
Yeah, no, that looked frustrating. I didn't want to touch it at that point.
It was like,
but
we had to see it through.
You are rewarded with the ultimate reward.
Yes.
yeah.
I'll just
move over, Jonathan Colton.
I'll just say, leave a little bit of surprise for people. But those clips I played earlier don't even begin to scratch the surface.
Yeah.
There is a funk rap.
Yeah.
Where all of the lyrics in the song are clips, sound clips of Mickey Rourke from the game remix.
It is baffling. We were kind of in awe when that
we were dying.
It's tonally completely out of left field, but also it's trying to be funny, right? Not cool. I can't tell.
I see it as kind of like this weird thing
was
where
it
it's
just
like,
them throwing their hand? They're like, we know.
Yeah, it's kind of like a middle finger because they're like, yeah, we know the game sucks.
Yeah, but
you played it anyway, you idiot. So here you go. Like
$60 product.
Yep.
By the way, right?
I paid $4 for it on eBay.
Yes. If anybody wants to get out there and relive what we did, it's a cheap investment.
But yeah. The rest of the game did not sell well.
What?
There are no Mickey Rourke included. There are no Rogue Warrior games in the future.
Rogue Trooper?
Rogue Trooper did get a remaster.
Rogue Warrior did not.
Rogue Warrior did not.
Maybe one day.
But
yeah.
It's very similar to like if it's very funny Googling this game or YouTubing this game specifically because it's kind of like The Room where like it's very bad, but like it's only 2 hours and it's great content to play through.
Absolutely.
So like in the age of Twitch and YouTube, it got this like cult-like following where like a lot of streamers and YouTubers started playing it because it is an absolute fucking nightmare to play, but very funny to watch.
And it's at least like it can get tedious, but it's the the voice, the amount of voice lines and executions keep it fresh, I suppose.
So I remember what the first thing Chris did when he went into the game was you turned the music.
The music. Okay, we didn't bring up the music yet because it's so fucking repetitive.
The music is so repetitive and
oh my God.
mixed so loud.
Yeah.
The first thing Chris did was instantly turn the music down, and then we went right back into the sound menu and turned everything down except for the dialogue.
Yeah.
It's like what you can do in the Bubsy game. You just
and it's hilarious too because like I said, like these clips just randomly play when you're executing these kill animations, but like they're just isolated clips of audio like I just played.
Yeah, and they sound the same. There's no like reverb on them or anything, so it's just like when he runs up and he's like in the middle of killing somebody, it's not exacerbated. Like it's just the
Soviet fucking Union can fondle my hairy nuts.
So like that will play
while you're slicing someone's
while you are
throat.
like wrestling a guy to the ground, and there's no there's no like work to make it sound like he's exerting anything, and that just keeps happening.
I don't even think his mouth moves.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it almost sounds like his inner thoughts or something. Like,
to be honest, you're paying $60 to hear Mickey Rourke just say the most ludicrous shit.
Yeah.
And a game wrapped around it.
I still might rank as far as amusingly bad games go with Quiet Man Like, I don't know. I mean,
I think Quiet Man is probably less frustrating to play,
yeah.
and it's more sincere.
Yeah, there's an earnestness to that game that makes me want to cover it, but
like, I do think if okay, it's funny because Duke Nukem Forever was not out yet. That came out after
previous
Rogue
topic.
Warrior,
Check
yeah.
it out.
And like when Pete Hines makes the comparison to,
He's referring to 3D, and
he's referring to Duke Nukem the character, but it's funny because I do think Rogue Warrior is almost a better Duke Nukem game than Duke Nukem Forever. Like it does like
I think I still find Duke Nukem Forever more offensive than Rogue Warrior.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like I think you're right.
because like Rogue Warrior is a bad game,
It's less rapey.
but in terms of like that like edgy sort of stupid humor,
yeah,
like whether intentional or not, Rogue Warrior is actually much better at that.
Rogue Warrior is funnier,
Yeah.
undoubtedly.
Because Duke Nukem Forever is not funny.
No, and it's also much longer, and by then you just want to check out it.
Steam! I hate Valve puzzles. Remember that?
Oh yeah. It's just
Real slam
nothing
dunk
but
there.
net.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, that's there's not much to the story after that.
Yeah.
Bethesda released Wet. It did way better commercially and critically.
Still didn't do great, but it did much better than
Much better.
Rogue Warrior.
And then Bethesda moved on,
Did they?
and everybody moved on.
From this era, was there anything else that they? Those two stick out to me because it's just so weird to see their logo on them. But
That they published?
yeah.
Didn't Bethesda publish Brink?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Brink sucks.
Mhm.
No wonder why they don't do this anymore.
No, they also published. The only other thing that they published in the 360 era was Dishonored,
Right, but
and then they bought Arcane after that, and then
that's true. Dishonored has like a prestige to it though that it's like
I think they also
took that
might
more
have
seriously.
they also might have published.
Rage.
Oh, well, Rage 2.
That's what I was gonna
Did
say.
they,
No,
did they publish
Prey?
Rage 1? Prey. Well, they published the Prey.
no, they published Rage.
The first
So
one.
that
Oh, okay.
they published.
I guess so.
They
Well, it was it. So never mind. that
yeah,
makes
they
sense.
published Wet, Rogue Warrior, Rage, and Brink, all within the same 2-year span, and also
They were really trying
Hunted
to
the
expand.
Demon's Forge as well.
I never played that.
And then they bought id, and they bought
Yeah.
Arcane, and they haven't really. Actually, in fact, I want to say that Ghostwire Tokyo is their first third-party published game since Brink, because that's
Yeah.
Tango.
You're right.
So there you
Be
go.
on the lookout. 2022.
Yep.
Let's see how that does.
When did this game come out?
09.
2009, yeah. More
Yeah.
specifically, November 2009.
Wait, didn't Modern Warfare 2 come out in November 2009?
It did, didn't it?
And you're telling me this didn't do well?
Listen, if I was going to
Some
revisit,
kids' Christmas.
if I was going to
ended up
revisit one of those two games,
Grandma, I want Call of Duty. We have Call of Duty at home. Boom. Rogue Warrior.
yeah.
Poor kid.
yeah.
No, that was a fun one.
That's the end of the
Yeah.
episode. That's the end of the story.
We got to keep it
Bit-
slim down a bit from
Bit
the
on the
last
shorter
couple.
side.
Yeah.
Thank God I don't have to edit as much.
No, we should do more of these little ones.
Yeah, this literally just came about from one day. We were
Yeah,
just,
just you bought
I bought Rogue Warrior, and then we
Mhm.
just sat down and beat the whole thing in 2 hours. And then we're like, we got to do an episode.
Yeah, the people need to hear about this. All right, let's do some plugs.
Yeah.
In our
Thank,
new studio.
thank you for listening. I guess Duke Nukem would be the good episode to recommend after this one.
Mm-hmm.
very
And did come up.
It's a very similar tone to that one. It's a very good episode, if I do say so myself. You get to hear me do another skit with Duke Nukem.
If you if you like games really flubbing it,
Yeah.
we've
You can
covered a few
find
of those.
that episode and many, many more at hotbuttoncast.com. You can also subscribe on iTunes or Spotify or wherever else you get your podcasts. Rate and review on iTunes, I guess. I don't really check them. Who cares? And also, you can check out our social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at HotButtonCast. And I redesigned the website as well.
Yes.
So you can check out the
looks
website.
fucking great. Chris, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
More importantly, thank you for beating Rogue Warrior.
It was a struggle.
Some might say almost as much of a harrowing experience as Dick Marcinko went through in the 80s. Maybe that was the intention, to design a game that made us feel what it was like to be in Vietnam.
Oh, it is torture. Oh, man. Oh, and I just remembered what everyone's listening to right now on our way out.
Oh, yeah. So, I'm going to play.
Proven.
Copyright be damned, I am going to play the entire fucking song.
Yes.
So stay tuned after.
I don't think anyone's going to come after.
No, I will stay tuned after our credits and listen to the entire thing. You will not be sorry.
You're welcome.
But yeah,
listeners, that's our
thank you for listening. We'll be back in a few weeks with another topic.
Bye.
See you guys.
Hope you assholes like fireworks. Ooh, fucking commies keep getting in my way. Well, surprise, motherfuckers. Happy fucking birthday. That's right, Natty, now you sweet piece of shit. Enjoy the ride, cocksucker. Have a nice trip. Boom time, baby. Trick or treat. Looks like a party. Come on. I got places to go and people to meet. Assholes are everywhere. Fuckers around the forest. Hi-ho, hi-ho. This fucker's gonna blow. Anytime, anywhere, any place. Kicking ass, taking names. Who's the hardest motherfuckers around, huh? Rock and roll, motherfuckers, rock and roll. I'd seek, motherfuckers. Anybody home? Hey, Daddy's here. Come on. Glad to see me, fuckers. Send me the bill, motherfucking cocksuckers. I'm over here, fuckface. There's gonna be fucking asses bleeding all over the place. Sorry, assholes. Your quiet day at the office is about to get severely fucked up. Anytime, anywhere, any place. Kicking ass, taking names. Who's the hardest motherfuckers around, huh? Give me a goddamn break. Good place to blow some shit up. What the fuck was I doing again? Yeah, fucking shit up. Goddamn dark breath coming, motherfucker! You fucking asshole! You fucking pig farmers! Drop dead, motherfucker! You fucking amateurs! I own your fucking soul, you fucking commie bitch! Yeah, little capitalism for you, huh? Pussy, you fucking shit-eating pig! Time to move. I got bad guys to send to commie heaven. Fucking ninja style. I'm gonna bring it to them. I'm gonna show them what time it is.